Hello, guys, and welcome to this second part. So we already finished everything related to the paragraph and the genetic form of the paragraph, right? Like we have in all the theoretical basis and some practice about topic sentence, the supporting sentences, and the conclusion. So what we're going to do from now on, from this point of the course on, is to study some specialized paragraphs. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with the descriptive paragraph, the narrative paragraph, the argumentative paragraph. Those are the main three that we're going to use in order to handle them all and manage them all and somehow perfect them or perfect our command of them in order to use all of them for our final essay, right? That is what we're going to try to do to make it somehow easy to use and understandable to use, and we're going to try to discern when to use one or the other, and all of those will be elements that are going to help us decide when to use the different ones, and are going to help us complete our essay at the end of the course. Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is the descriptive paragraph. This will be the last thing we do this week. The next week we are going to continue doing some additional exercises about description. It's really important that we are able to describe different things. For now, for today, we are going to somehow specialize or dedicate our time to describing things or describing physical objects or tangible objects or people, right? Places, etc. Everything that is tangible, that we can touch or that we can clearly see. Okay, next week we are going to deal with something a little bit more difficult, that is, let's say, describing something that we cannot see. Feelings, attitudes, personality, or something like that. Okay, so hopefully by then we are expert enough in this task of describing, so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so let's take a look at the slide number 24, and we will see over there a very short description. This description, as I mentioned, applies specifically for people, places, objects, or anything that we can touch or we can see, right? It says, describes a thing, a person, or a place. Detailed information allows the reader to form an image in his or her imagination. And this is what we are going to strive to. Okay, we're going to try to do that. We are going to try to be so detailed, so perfectly descriptive, and so somehow ample in the vocabulary, rich in the details, that the person who reads that is able to form a real clear mental picture in his or her mind. So if eventually that person requires to draw, let's say that the drawing should be more or less pretty much the same that we had in our mind, or what we are seeing, or let's say that reference image that we have for describing. Yes, there shouldn't be so different, and that is your responsibility as the person who is going to describe. Well, when we're dealing with these physical descriptions, normally we're going to appeal specifically to the senses. Yes, to the touch, the smell, sound, taste, and sight. So how does it feel? What is the texture of it? What is the smell? What is the scent of it? Is it good? Is it nice? Maybe it is repulsive. It is something horrible or something like that. The sound. Does it sound in any specific way? Does it produce any noise? Does it produce any characteristic sound? So for certain things, maybe there are not much of a sound, right? So think about a chair. or a bicycle. Well, maybe the bicycle sounds somehow, when you pedal, or the wheels or something like that. But there are some objects that do not really produce many sounds unless you move them or they fall or something like that. But there are some others that have really characteristic sounds. No? So imagine about a bus, a car, a bird, uh, I don't know, a CD player, a video player, well, different things, right? So most of the times, let's say that different objects, people, or places appeal to just some senses more than the others. Sometimes we are lucky enough to have all the senses put into there, and sometimes definitely there are some senses that cannot be described in certain objects, or in certain people or places. So let me give you an example of a text in which we are going to be able to evidence all the different senses, right? Some of them more than others, yes, but that are going to give us a sample of certain things. So if you go to the slide number 25, you will see a little text over there. Okay, so we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to read it, and then we will analyze it little by little, right? So the text says something like this: Lake Calhoun is a great place to swim and relax. In the summer, the weather is warm and clean, and the beaches are large enough to accommodate groups of people seeking relief from a midsummer scorcher. I don't know if you know what is a scorcher. It's like when it's really hot. It's like the weather, no? It's a sort of a metaphoric and informal way to say that the sun is so hot that it's almost burning you. Okay, it's a figure of speech. In addition to swimming, visitors to the lake can go canoeing, sailing, windsurfing, or fishing. So they can do all these different activities. The blue water is refreshing. The blue water is a refreshing, tempting sight. The sweet scent of sun block wafts through the air from sunbathers lying on the beach. Children love and splash in the water, and nearby volleyball games stir passionate shouts in the heat of competition. So there are these people playing volleyball, and they are sort of having a competition in there, and they are excited, and that's why you listen to all these different things, right? Meanwhile, lifeguards sit atop their towers and make sure everyone is safe. In the distance, sailboats catch the soft breezes that cross the lake, and canoes glide quietly past. That is what summer is all about, right? So we have this description, yes, in there, and the idea in this case was to try and fill in the chart that we have upwards, no? So as you can see, the person has only completed certain words, right? So if we have for the touching sense, the first column, it says water, sand, and heat. Yes. So water and sand, you can sort of feel it with your fingers somehow, right? So what is the consistency of the water? Something that you can mention in there. Is it either fresh, humid, liquid, of course, sand? Maybe you can say that it's fat, rough, and annoying for some people, or it may be nice. Well, it really depends on what you want to say. About the heat, well, more than with your fingers, you can feel it with your whole body, right? It's a perception of temperature, so that it's something that you can mention in there. Now, this chart that is in there, it's only going to have like certain words, and later on you will be able to describe it in a much better way, right? But those are the different things that you can use for touch. Now, what other things can you imagine as being part of touch? So let's imagine that you're describing an animal, so you can say that it's hairy, or furry, or soft, things like that. You could talk about temperature as cold, or hot, or humid, or any other things that you can perceive with your sense of touch, right? Then we have smell. Yes, and as I mentioned over here, there is not really the description of how it is the smell, but of certain things that produce smell, no? Like air, fish, hot dogs, food trucks, sunblock. So if you're going to describe any one of those, maybe you can talk about salty air, like when the air from the coast is coming to you, and if you're nearby the sea, it has a very particular smell, no? The smell of salt, the smell of seawater, and all these different things. Fish, well, it really depends, no? If it's uncooked fish, sometimes it doesn't smell so good, so you can say that it smells nasty, or ugly, or putrid, yes. But maybe if it's already cooked, you can say that it's delicious, or nice, or crispy, well, different things, right? The same for hot dogs. If you like them, maybe they smell meaty, they smell different ways. Same for food trucks. And the sunblock, no? We're talking about the liquid that you normally use in your body in order to take a tan, yes? So, one more time, here we have like the aspects that produce some smell, but by the moment that you're going to describe, so somehow you can go more specifically, yes? Not only mentioning the objects or the people, but how do they smell? Then we have this sound over here, right? We have the laughing, maybe of the children, of the people playing, the splashing of the water if people are swimming or are just getting into the sea. Music, we can assume that the people are listening to different music with their stereos, or maybe there is a nearby band, and the volleyball yells or screams that we like somehow mentioned, no? Before, about the excitement of the people playing volleyball. Then we have the taste. Here we don't have like the best examples. No? Sand and lotion. Of course, they have a taste. No, I don't think they are really nice. Nevertheless, I put it in there like in order to try to find a very specific taste, no? Because it's very simple. I mean, if I would have put the hot dogs or the fish of the food trucks, it would be really easy to say that they are delicious and nice, or they are yummy or something like that. Now, think about the taste of sand in your mouth. I don't know if you have been fortunate enough to have sand in your mouth, or lotion. But if you haven't, well, imagine how can you describe that? Is it bitter? Is it pasty? Is it I don't know, rough? Right? So you need to employ some other level of vocabulary in order to somehow describe that. Okay? And then finally we have probably the most ample one. We are really visual people. We are a generation, well, I am from a different generation, but mostly you guys are very visual in terms of that everything is video, is touch screen, and let's say that most of you are really attracted by the visual part of certain things, no? So we have the sun, the children, lifeguard, toys, boats, or canoes. Very simple, no? Let's imagine that we're going to describe the canoes, no? So we can say what is the material that they are made of, maybe wood, the colors that they have, I don't know, it's blue or white, maybe if it has the name of a woman that it's really common that canoes, or let's say boats, have women's or girls' names, and that we can mention that maybe it is somehow different colors in the part that the water touches. Well, there are a lot of different things that we can mention about that, right? And I think that is maybe the easiest part, like to describe these different things related to the site, right? So that's a little bit what we have in here. What we're going to try to do in this particular segment of the course um, is to verify certain things uh, about the physical aspects. Yes, and these physical aspects usually have to do with sensorial experience, with our possibility of perceiving the outside world with our senses. As you will see in this example that I gave you, most of it is visual. Yes, most of it is visual. And then we have certain things that are really scarce. They don't have a lot. For example, the taste, that have only like 2 examples, and the touch, that has 3. Nevertheless, the idea is that we can be as detailed as possible in this experience, or in this thing that we're going to do. So here comes the final assignment. The final assignment for this week, and it's this. Okay. So first of all, what you're going to do is this. You're going to do it a little bit like in reverse. You're going to think about in one of these categories, right? Either a person, an animal, a place, or an object. Yes, we have these 4, and I'm going to distribute these 4 things. Yes, so I say to each one of you, I'm going to give you one of these categories, and imagine that the one that corresponded to you was animal. Okay, so you can think about any animal: domestic, wild, aquatic, a land animal, a jungle animal, whatever. Okay, and you are going to first of all feel that chart. Okay, so you're going to take an empty chart of touch, smell, sound, taste, and sight. You're going to delete the information that is in there, and you're going to think about that category that corresponded to you. Okay, so let's imagine that it corresponded to you an animal, and you want to describe a cat. Yes, so for example, in touch you can put furry, soft, maybe sharp, if you're talking about his or her claws or her teeth, all these different things. Yes, so you can feel it either with some characteristics of this animal. Yes, you can feel the chart that way, or you can feel it with the descriptive words. Yes, so for example, let me repeat it one more time. In the touch part for cat, you can put either fur, yes, that is like the hair of the cat, or you can put furry, that is like the characteristic of the sensation, right? What you feel over there. You can put claw, yes, that is like the part of the body, or if you prefer, you can put sharp, yes, that is the sensation that it produces on you if the cat is probably scratching you with his paws. Right? Hope you get it. Hope you get that part. So you decide what to put. And the same for the next part, smell. Yeah. So how does a cat smell? What does it smell? So you can put the object or the part of his body that produces any kind of smell. So it may be also his hair, or maybe his mouth, right? Or you can put like the description of what it provides, right, or what it produces. So you can say that it smells awful, it's not really a good smell, or you can say that it's a delicate smell, a good scent, somehow, any description that you can find for smell, right? And that would be a good idea, that you look online and try to look for different ways to say certain things that we say very often in the same way. You normally say it smells nice, it smells delicious, but can you find another way to say that? It would be like good to increase your vocabulary and to make your somehow your description a little bit better. Then sound, yeah. So you can talk about the cat and say that he produces sound with his paws, so with his mouth, with his vocal cords. Yes, so you can put that, or you can write over there in the chart acute, that is the sound that it produces. You can say noisy, that if it's if he meows a lot when he wants to eat or something like that, or when he requires attention. That's it. Hopefully you get the idea, right? So you do the same with taste, the same with sight, and everything else, and you're going to put it in there. So the only condition is that it's only in the chart isolated words, only one word, okay? You're not going to write complete sentences, no, nothing like that. You're going to do that. Now, write at least a minimum of 3 characteristics in each let's say in each column, okay? That is what we're going to put in there. If you can put more, better, because you're going to have like more material for doing that, and that would be nice. But otherwise, so we are going to have at least 2 words or 3 words in each one of the columns, okay? So that will be the first part of your assignment number 3. What will be the second part? Well, very easy. Now that you have all these different things, what you're going to do is to create a descriptive paragraph, okay? So with all those characteristics that you have over there, you're going to create a descriptive paragraph. Remember that you must follow the same structure: 1 topic sentence, 3 supporting sentences, 1 conclusion, okay? That is what we can find. So let's imagine that I am going to do a very improvised paragraph on the cat that I just described, no? So my topic sentence will be something like, cats are really soft animals. That is my topic sentence, right? So I am going to provide 3 supporting sentences that supports that description that he is soft. For example, their hair is really smooth. That is my first supporting sentence. It supports that they are soft. Second, also their tail feels like velvet. I'm using somehow of some sort of comparison or metaphor in there, right? And the next one, even when their claws are very sharp, yes, when the claws are very sharp, even, because that would be like a contradiction, no? Even when their claws are very sharp, they in general smell really nice, feel really good, and I don't know, well, let's include something else, and are not very noisy. That is my third. I have like two sentences in there, but remember that is the minimum. I can write more, no? In conclusion, kitties are tender and soft, yes? Or in order to avoid repetition of soft, I can say something like, kitties are tender and really nice to the touch. See, I just created a very improvised, it came from the top of my mind right now, a very improvised paragraph with transitional words, with all the components: topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a conclusion. And that conclusion that I used was let's say the one from the first type, no, the one of summarizing. But you can use any of the other 5. Yes, you decide what to use. So basically, it's that, guys. Simply you create the sensorial chart: touch, smell, sound, taste, and sight. You put the words in there, and then you complete the paragraph, or write and create a paragraph, right? Notice that I didn't use necessarily all of the characteristics that I put on the chart. No, nevertheless, they help me to somehow be a little bit more resourceful at the moment of doing this. So that will be it, guys. That will be our third task and final task for the week. Let's say that the purpose is to practice a lot these paragraph writing skills, and specifically start practicing this one of the descriptive. Um, so hope you don't have any troubles with it. You will realize that by the moment that you start practicing, it's going to come naturally. This 5 sentence structure. Hopefully you are going to start with the topic sentences, the supporting, and the conclusion, and that will be all the time the same way. And it's going to come easier and easier and easier in the future. Okay, so well, that was it for this week, guys. Hopefully you're able to employ this. Also, if you have other subjects, different subjects from mine, where you have to write, maybe this can help you. Yes, and maybe that can be another way of practicing using these structures for your paragraphs. And the conclusions and the connectors and everything else, maybe this can help you and can be good for you, right? So remember, if you have any question or something additional, do not hesitate to contact me, and I'll be more than pleased to assist you and give you any help I can. So hope you don't have any troubles with this, and let me know anything additional. Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Hugs.